Yo, it's D.Arthur in the building, speaking to you guys today about why women are attracted to you when you go on semen retention. Now, before we get into this video, make sure you click on that link in the description below and check out the high value blueprint. This is an 8 to 16 week transformative one-on-one coaching program that transform you from a man who has lack of motivation, fulfillment slash masculine energy to a man who is on his purpose, motivated, fulfilled, and has presence in his life, finally has control of his life. Transformations are happening right now. Be the last person to get your free testimonial, your free coaching after you send a testimonial. Click on that link in the description below. Now, with that being said, why are women attracted to you on semen retention? The bottom line is, when you've been on no fap slash semen retention slash being on your purpose, what tends to starts to happen, and you've also been keeping up with grooming, taking care of yourself, knowing how to speak to women, come off as charismatic and confidently charismatic. What starts to happen to you is that you're going to become more attractive. What I am debating is, if you've fapped recently and you talk to a woman, and you have not fapped recently and you've talked to a woman, the difference is night and day. The difference has to be night and day, because if woman and man interaction is based mostly on vibes and feelings, how said person feels about the said other person, the more you've been not fapping, the more of a, maybe it can come across as tension, it can across as being playful. There is some sort of emotion behind the words and actions that you're taking, and she may feel this on a subconscious level. Now, if you've been fapping regularly and you interact with women, you're trying to quote unquote seduce her or trying to be with her, it may not come across as the same way, because it's more of a logical interaction. When you've been when you've been fapping recently and then you speak to a woman, that tension, that charisma, that mystery that you had, there is lack of it. Because it's gone. The tension that you had in you is gone. You've released it. So now you cannot you can't act how you usually are, because there's no, you do realize you lose your soul with you fapping regularly. You do realize that. I'm talking about man and woman dynamics. Where you can be a complete stranger to one, interact with her, and have her be somewhat attracted to you by the end of interaction. This is a total skill that you can harness and you can utilize in your day-to-day interactions. But the way to do this is to feel good about yourself. And when you've been on no PMO, when you have not been fapping regularly, you feel a lot better about yourself, and this is why she's more attracted to you. Anybody who's debating this topic, there's people who are gonna say there's no way she knows if you're been on no fap retention, yada yada yada. She doesn't know, and yes, obviously she's not going to know what day you are on. But all I'm saying is, the way you come across and the way that you speak to her may be different when you are on PMO and when you've been on no fap. If that makes sense. There has to be. All of this is subconscious vibes. There's guys who are talking about it has nothing to do with. It only has to do with how you dress, and how you look, and all these things. But they're not. What they fail to talk about is the subconscious communication that is happening between you and the woman when you are interacting with her. The subconscious communications. How nervous are you? How playful are you? How much can you, how much can you come across as playful? How much can you tease her in a way? How much can you, just come across as a fun, relatable guy? These are all the skills that are not talked about. These are the skills that are not talked about. And, when you fap recently, it's just harder for you to, come across as a playful, banter, charismatic, confident guy. Because all of the tension that you had in you, all the confidence, semen could equal confidence in you, has been released. So it's gonna be a bit harder. Maybe you're just that guy who, regardless of what you've done, you're still come across as confident and charismatic. Maybe you are that guy, but I'm talking about the vast majority of men. Usually, when you fap recently, you just might come across as someone who's just, because I realize I seen this between the people I've interacted with, the people who claim that they fap regularly, they come across as low energy. Their voice might not be there. It comes as nasally. Their physique may not just be there. It comes across as not put together, and their personality is just very bland and basic. They don't have anything really interesting going on. But the people who are more motivated, confident, have better physicality, and are not fapping regularly, they come across as more confident and much more. If we're talking about an eye test, they come across as more of an option to women than the man who's fapping regularly. I don't understand how this comes to debate. I don't understand how people are saying, how people would say, you can fap, or she's not gonna know any of these things. These guys are delusional. These guys are, I think you can even call them losers, because they're just talking without having any real world experience. They can just say it. They will say anything to justify their habits. They'll say anything to justify their behavior. They're living a life that may come across as delusional, because when you're on PMO, you've been fapping regularly. You tend to come across as, your brain thinks that you're still getting some, regardless of you putting in the actual work. And you're actually tricking your brain to thinking that you're getting some. This is the biggest delusion on planet Earth. Biggest delusion on planet Earth. So you have to realize the facts that I'm saying. When you've been on retention, women are more likely to become attracted to you, as long as been taking care of yourself and physically been looking you're the best. They're going to be a little bit more attracted to you, just because you look like someone you're looking attractive. This is the bottom line. Take the retention part as a cherry on top. As a cherry on top of what you are already doing. And you're going to come across as, just a bit more charismatic, confident, and someone who looks like he's more interesting. But if you've fat regularly, you're not going to come across as interesting. You're going to come across as bland, low energy, and not enthusiastic. You have to act enthusiastic to become enthusiastic, and you have to be able to learn how to banter. You have to learn how to connect and communicate with women in a certain way. These are all skills that you can learn. These are all skills that you can actually learn by speaking the language of women. Women are emotional beings, so come across and speak to their emotions. If you're able to do this, you have your way with anything most of the time. If you're not able to do this, and you're living and you're speaking more in a logical, bland, way that, how you would talk to another guy you just met, just very logical conversation, you're not going to come across as appealing, and she's going to say that this guy's boring, or we don't have a connection. It's all about the connection that you're giving off. And when you've been feeling good about yourself, taking care of yourself, hitting the gym, being on NoFap, using your semen as intelligence to think in a more creative way, harnessing this potent energy force and using it to your advantage, you're gonna come across as someone who's a little bit more interesting than the next guy. You have to be. This is how things work. This is how psychology works. The guy who does more, for his overall betterment, has more of a story to tell than the guy who does less. He doesn't have as much of a story to tell. You have to realize this. You have to realize this. You have to realize this. With that being said, I hope that video made sense to you. Women will find you more attractive on NoFap, on retention, and you're going to come across as someone who is charismatic. With that being said, like the video, comment, subscribe to the channel below, click on the high value blueprint link in the description below, and we will see you in the next video.